Good evening. Tonight you are diving into life of Lakota warrior, from the birth till the most known battle of Little Bighorn. So, let your journey begin.
You are born on an open plain, and the first thing you feel is the warmth surrounding you from every side. You hear the soft whispers of your parents and elders around you, and it feels as if their presence is embracing you. Your skin senses the gentle touch of the grass beneath your feet. The wind plays with your hair, and the rustling of leaves creates a quiet melody, as if telling you that everything in this world is gentle and safe. The camp breathes slowly. The fire flickers, radiating warmth that reaches you, and you feel it as a soft blanket around your entire body. Your gaze, though not yet able to distinguish shapes, catches light and shadow, movement and breathing around you, creating a sense of presence and connection with those nearby. Your body is pressed closely to your mother's. Her breathing has become your first rhythm. Her warmth envelops you gently, and in this is a sense of security that cannot be described, only felt. You hear quiet conversations, laughter, the soft sounds of clothing, and movement around you. Everything seems slow, rhythmic, like a gentle song of nature accompanying you from the very first moments of life. The wind carries the smell of grass and earth, mingled with a light hint of smoke from the fire, a scent that reminds you of home and of the world around you being kind and gentle. You feel the sun slightly warming your body through the fabric of a blanket, and each breath fills your lungs with warmth and calm. Around you are the sounds of animals, the soft clatter of horses, the rustle of birds, creating a feeling that you are part of the vast expanse of the plain, that everything around moves slowly and deliberately, and you can simply be. You feel your mother moving slowly. Her hands hold you carefully, and in every motion there is care and attention. Everything is gentle. Nothing rushes. Everything is in harmony. Your head rests on your mother's warm shoulder. Her arms embrace you as if protecting you, and you breathe with her. The rhythm of her breath gently merges with your own, creating a feeling of complete safety. Quiet voices of elders can be heard. They speak calmly and rhythmically, their words like a song you could listen to endlessly. Their tones are soft, steady, and without tension. Everything around is filled with safe energy, and you feel like a part of this world. The wind plays with your clothing, and the grass beneath your feet. This movement is gentle and calm, as if saying that everything around you is alive yet peaceful. Every sound, every movement, every scent and touch combines into a feeling of full presence in the here and now. And this feeling flows through your body like a soft stream. Your attention gradually expands, noticing details around you, the light of the fire, the flicker of the flames, the gentle swaying of tents, the movements of people, all slow and calm. This creates a sense of rhythm that soothes, while connecting you with the world around you. You hear the quiet sound of your mother's breathing. Her hands hold you softly, your body relaxed, and this sense of warmth and safety slowly becomes your own. Your breathing evens out, your body relaxes, and every cell of your small body absorbs this calm. The whisper of the wind, the rustle of grass, the gentle smell of the fire, and the warmth of your mother's body create an invisible shell of care and presence around you. You realize that you can simply be, not hurry, not think. Not worry, just breathe and feel yourself in this vast, soft, peaceful world of the plain dot. The sun rises higher. The wind plays with the grass. Horses graze quietly nearby. Everything is gentle, quiet, without harsh sounds or hurry. It is like a slow lullaby wrapping you from the inside, and you feel your little world expanding, becoming part of a larger space while still feeling safe, warm, and cared for. Every sound, movement, and scent creates the feeling that everything around is gentle and steady. Here on this plain with this family, this wind, this sun, this fire, this grass, this life, you can simply be. Nothing more is needed. You can breathe, feel, relax, and slowly absorb the calm that will accompany you every day of your life. You simply lie there, feeling warmth and safety, gently sinking into this sensation, and the world around breathes with you. Everything is calm, gentle, endlessly calm. You take your first steps on the soft grass of the plains, feeling the earth under your small feet pressing gently with each step. The breeze touches your face softly, carrying the scent of the soil and the faint smoke of the campfires around you. You look up and see the wide open sky stretching endlessly. The warmth of the sun brushes your cheeks, creating a gentle comfort. You move slowly, exploring the space around the tents. You watch the adults as they go about their quiet tasks. Their movements calm and steady, their voices soft and low like a lullaby that flows through the air, reaching you in waves of safety and warmth. You notice the horses grazing nearby, their hooves pressing the earth softly, the sway of their tails and the gentle twitch of their ears. You feel a quiet connection to them, as if their calmness is yours too. You bend down to touch the grass, feeling the softness and the coolness of the blades. Brushing your fingers, the earth beneath slightly damp and alive with tiny movements of insects and hidden creatures. It feels smooth under your palm. You feel a sense of wonder simply in noticing these little details. You move slowly from one patch of grass to another, listening to the sound of the wind whispering through the leaves and the rustle of tall grasses brushing against one another. With each sound you feel more present, more part of this world. The campfires flicker, and you notice the warmth radiating from them. The soft crackle of the flames mixes with the faint scent of smoke. It carries the energy of the camp around you, like a gentle heartbeat that keeps time with your own. Each movement is slow, deliberate. You take small steps toward the nearby creek and listen to the water as it flows over smooth stones. The soft gurgle blends with the quiet calls of birds and the occasional shuffle of the horses as they move. Everything seems to move together in a soft rhythm, a rhythm you can feel and follow. You reach down to touch the water, feeling its coolness against your fingers, the smoothness of the stones beneath your palm, the gentle flow that carries small leaves across the surface. You notice the way sunlight sparkles on the ripples, as if the water itself is breathing. You breathe with it, taking in the calm and letting it settle deep into your body. You watch other children playing quietly across the camp, running slowly through the grass, laughing softly, their feet barely pressing against the earth. You feel the joy of movement without hurry, of chasing without competition, just the simple pleasure of being outside, of noticing the ground, the air, the sun, the wind, the sounds all around you. As you move, your small hands trail through the grass, picking up small objects, a smooth pebble, a feather caught in the blades, a tiny flower. Each touch brings a soft sense of wonder, a sense that the world is alive and delicate, and you are part of it. You notice how the shadows of the tents stretch across the earth. As the sun moves higher, you follow them with your eyes, tracing the gentle sway of the fabrics in the breeze. You hear the adults speaking to one another, their voices calm, rhythmic, soothing words that do not demand anything from you, only a presence that surrounds you with care and attention. The horses shift their weight gently as they graze. The sound of their hooves against the soft earth blends with the rustle of the grass and the whisper of the wind, creating a quiet symphony of the plains. You stop for a moment and close your eyes, taking a deep, slow breath, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, the soft brush of the wind on your skin, the solidness of the earth beneath your feet, the gentle energy of the camp around you. In that moment, you feel the calm presence of life all around you, the slow movements of adults, the gentle steps of children, the quiet breath of animals, the flicker of firelight, the play of wind and grass and sunlight. You feel part of it, part of a world that moves slowly, deliberately, and without hurry. You notice how the air carries a mixture of scents, the smoke from the fire, the fragrance of grass, the damp earth near the creek. Each scent settles softly in your chest and your mind, creating a sense of calm and belonging. Your hands touch the earth again, feeling the coolness and slight roughness, the small vibrations of life beneath your fingertips, the tiny movements of bugs, the shifting of soil, the softness of moss. You feel the connection to the ground. That will stay with you. Your eyes wander to the horizon, noticing the soft hills, the open sky, the occasional bird gliding slowly above the plains. You feel yourself part of this rhythm. Your breathing slows to match the movement of the camp. The wind, the water, the horses, the adults, and the sun. Your body feels calm, your muscles soft, your mind quiet. Each sound is a gentle guide, each movement a meditation. Your small steps across the camp become a dance with the earth. You notice the soft rustle of clothing as someone moves past you, the distant call of a bird, the gentle nicker of a horse. You pause to listen, letting these sounds fill you with calm. You feel your chest rise and fall slowly, your hands relaxed by your sides, your feet grounded and connected, the gentle warmth of the sun, the soft breeze, the rhythm of life all around wrap you in a cocoon of peace. You take another deep breath and notice the way the grass sways with the wind, the way the water glimmers in the sunlight, the way the birds glide through the air, all soft movements that teach you to move slowly, to notice, to feel, to be present with the earth, the camp, and the life that surrounds you. The day moves gently forward. You continue walking slowly, touching the grass, watching the animals, breathing in the scents, feeling the warmth, feeling the wind, feeling safe and part of it all. With each step, you feel your connection to the earth grow stronger. Your heart feels calm and steady. The world feels large, welcoming and soft. You know it is safe to explore, to play, to move, to notice, to breathe, and simply to be. You walk, you breathe, you observe, you feel, and all is calm, gentle, endless calm. You walk across the plains slowly, quietly, feeling the softness of the grass beneath your feet. Each step presses gently into the earth. You hear the blades of grass rustle softly under your movement. The wind plays with your hair, lightly brushing your face. You stop for a moment and listen. The sounds of nature around seem alive. The gentle whisper of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the soft movement of the wind, all the sounds slowly wrap around you. You watch the grass moving in the breeze. Each stalk seems to dance in the rhythm of the air. You reach down and touch the earth, feeling its coolness and softness. The slight movement of insects under your fingertips. The faint vibrations of life beneath the surface. You notice the earth is slightly damp and smells of fresh grass and soil. You take a deep breath and feel the air fill your lungs, each inhale connecting you more deeply with the world around you. You continue walking slowly, observing animal tracks along the soft earth. The imprints of hooves, the tiny marks of birds and small creatures. You slow your steps to watch them carefully. Each track tells a quiet story. You notice the patterns, the direction and depth. You feel your attention deepen. Your breathing matches the rhythm of the land. You hear the soft murmur of a distant creek. Its gentle gurgle blends with the rustle of grass and the calls of birds. You take another deep breath and let the sound fill you. You stop to listen to the wind. It carries the scent of grass, soil, and distant flowers. Each breath brings a sense of calm and presence. You notice the distant movement of a horse. Its steps light and measured. Its tail sways gently. Its ears twitch. In the wind, you feel its calm energy and allow it to flow into your own body. You pause again and listen to your breathing, matching it with the rhythm of the animals and the wind. Each inhale and exhale becomes part of the plains rhythm. You walk on observing each sound, each movement. You notice the wind shifting slightly, cooling your face, playing with your clothing. You hear birds repeating soft notes. The repetition brings a sense of calm. You take a slow, deep breath and feel your body filling with peace. You notice the small details around you, the gentle curve of a leaf, the sparkle of dew on grass, the scurrying of an insect. Each detail brings quiet wonder. You feel connected to everything. The sunlight moves across the land softly, casting gentle shadows across the grass and tents. You notice the warm touch of sun on your skin, every ray a reminder of safety and presence. You hear the quiet voices of adults, soft rhythmic words that do not demand anything, only care and attention. You hear the horses shift gently as they graze, their hooves brushing softly against the earth. The sounds blend with the rustle of grass and the whisper of the wind, creating a quiet symphony of the plains. You pause again, listening, feeling the earth, wind, sun, and air around you. You feel part of this rhythm, part of the natural world. You see a small lake in the distance, its surface calm, reflecting the sky, clouds, and sunlight. You approach it slowly, listening to the soft plash of water, feeling the cool air above it. You kneel and touch the water with your fingertips. It feels soft, cool, slightly trembling beneath your touch. You see the reflection of the clouds in the water and feel a deep sense of calm. You pause to simply observe. Everything is gentle, calm, repeating, and soothing. You listen to the wind, the rustle of grass, the bird song, the water, allowing all the sounds to flow with your breathing. You feel harmony between yourself and the land. You feel your connection to the earth. Every leaf, every blade of grass, every living being. You walk slowly across the plains, noticing each sound, each scent, each movement. You breathe deeply and evenly, fully present. You feel calm, safe, harmonious. The sun moves gently, The wind plays with the grass. The birds repeat their songs. You walk, breathe, observe, feeling the world soft, calm and welcoming. You know it is safe to explore, to move, to notice, to breathe, and simply to be. You walk, breathe, observe, and feel fully here, fully safe, fully calm. You wake as the light begins to spread across the plains. The air is cool and still. A thin layer of morning dew rests on the grass. You step outside onto the ground. Your feet press softly into the damp earth. The grass bends slightly under your weight. Around you, the camp begins to move. Fabric shifts in the breeze. Tents stand in quiet rows. Smoke rises slowly from the fire pits. You hear low voices nearby, soft and steady, blending with the faint crackle of fire. You walk toward a small container of water, its surface still, reflecting the pale morning light. You lift it carefully. The weight settles into your hands. The water moves gently inside. You turn and carry it across the camp, step by step, feeling the motion of the liquid shift with you. You place it near the fire. The ground there is warmer, darkened by ash and yews. The embers glow faintly, a soft orange beneath gray ash. You kneel and watch them. You pick up a small piece of wood, dry and light. You place it carefully onto the embers. A small flame begins to grow, slow at first, then steady. The fire crackles softly. The sound rises and falls, mixing with the quiet movement of the camp. You reach for another piece of wood, placing it with the same motion. Repeating the action, you pause and watch. The flames adjust. The heat spreads outward. You feel it against your hands, a steady warmth. Behind you, someone walks past. Cloth brushes lightly, footsteps soft on the ground. You stand and move back toward the water, lifting it again, carrying it to another place. You pour slowly into a basin. The stream of water, smooth and even, the surface ripples outward. You stop, then return to fill it again, step by step. The same path, the same motion. The ground feels familiar beneath your feet. Slight variations in texture, dry patches, cool, damp areas. The wind moves gently through the camp, carrying the scent of smoke and grass. You hear fabric shifting again, a tent edge moving in the breeze, the rope pulling slightly. You reach down and adjust a small object on the ground, placing it back where it belongs. Nearby clothing rests on a line. You walk toward it, lift a piece of fabric. You shake it once, slow and controlled, then hang it back evenly. The cloth moves in the air, light and steady. You repeat the motion, one piece, then another, the same action, again and again. You notice the texture beneath your fingers, soft in some places, rough in others. The wind passes through, lifting the edges slightly, then letting them fall. You step back and look. Everything remains still for a moment. Then the movement continues, quiet and constant. You return to the fire, kneel again, adjust the wood. The flames respond slowly, shifting shape, rising and settling. You listen to the sound, a steady crackle. You reach for another small branch. Place it with the same careful motion. The heat grows slightly, then steadies. You stand and move again, walking across the same ground. Your steps follow a rhythm, even and consistent. You carry another container, the weight familiar now. The water inside moves gently, matching your pace. You pour it again. Watching the surface settle, you pause briefly, then turn back. The path repeats, the actions repeat, the sounds remain the same. Fire, wind, voices, cloth, all blending into one continuous rhythm. You pass by others in the camp. They move in similar patterns, slow, steady, deliberate. No movement breaks the flow. You bend to pick up a small object. Place it where it belongs. You lift another piece of wood. Carry it to the fire. Place it down. Watch the change. Pause, then repeat. The ground beneath you holds each step, unchanging. The light continues to grow, shadows shifting slowly across the grass. You feel the warmth of the sun begin to reach the camp, soft at first, then more steady. The air changes slightly, cool and warm moving together. You continue your tasks, water, fire, cloth, the same sequence. Again and again, you notice the way your hands move, without hesitation. Each motion measured, you lift, carry, place, adjust. Each action flows into the next. You hear a quiet voice nearby, then another, fading into the background. The fire continues its steady sound. The wind moves through the tents. You walk back to the basin, check the water, still and clear. You add a little more, watching the ripples spread, then settle. You step back, pause, then move again. The rhythm remains unchanged. You return to the line of clothing. Touch each piece. Adjust slightly. The fabric moves in response, then becomes still again. You turn toward the fire once more. The same path, the same steps. You kneel, adjust the wood, watch the flame, pause, stand again. The pattern continues. You feel the repetition, noticing each detail, the sound of water, the texture of wood, the movement of cloth, each one consistent, each one steady. The camp continues around you. No sudden changes, only gradual movement. The light shifts further, reaching across the tents. The smoke rises in a thin line, then fades into the air. You walk once more across the ground, carrying water, pouring, returning, each step placed carefully, each movement the same. The rhythm holds. You stop briefly, listening. Fire, wind, voices, then you continue. You move between tasks, without pause, without change in pace. The actions remain simple, clear, repeated. You lift another piece of wood, place it, watch. You carry water, pour it, watch. You adjust fabric, release it, watch. Each action ends the same way, in stillness, then begins again. The camp continues its quiet motion, everything aligned in the same steady rhythm. You move within it, step by step, action by action. The pattern remains unbroken, even. continuous, and you continue, moving, carrying, placing, watching, the same motions, the same sounds, the same steady rhythm. You stand beside the horse, its body tall and steady, breath slow and visible in the air. You reach your hand forward, touching its side lightly, warm beneath your palm. The horse shifts its weight, a slow movement, hooves pressing softly into the ground. You stand close, listening. A quiet breath leaves the animal, deep and even. You place your hand again, feeling the rise and fall, the steady rhythm of breathing. The wind moves across the plains, rushing, your face moving through your hair. The grass sways around you. Soft and continuous, you step closer, your hand resting along the horse's neck. The surface is smooth, muscles moving slowly beneath. You pause, then begin to climb. One careful movement, then another. You settle onto the horse's back, adjusting your balance. The height feels different, the ground further away. You remain still, letting your body adjust. The horse stands quietly, breathing steady. You feel the movement beneath you, a slow expansion, then release. You match your breath to it, in and out. The wind continues to pass across your face. Across the open space, you shift slightly, finding balance. The horse begins to move one step forward, a soft sound of hooves pressing into the earth, then another step. The motion begins slow and steady. Your body moves with it, a gentle rise and fall. You do not resist, you follow. Each step creates the same motion, up and down, forward and steady. The rhythm repeats. You feel it through your body, through your legs, through your back. The horse continues walking across the open plains. The grass moves below, blurring slightly with motion. The wind becomes more present, moving past you, steady and even. You adjust your posture, sitting more evenly. Your hands rest lightly, not pulling, not forcing. The horse continues, step by step, hooves meeting the ground, soft and consistent. You listen to the sound, a quiet pattern, step, step, each one the same. Your breathing follows, slow and even. The motion continues unchanged. You begin to feel the rhythm more, clearly noticing the timing, the rise, the fall, the forward movement. Your body adjusts without effort, matching the pattern. The horse turns slightly, a smooth change in direction. You follow the movement without resistance. The wind shifts again, touching your face from a new angle. You hear the grass moving below, the sound softer now. The horse continues walking across open ground. You look ahead. The land stretches wide, no obstacles, only space. The rhythm continues, step, step, step. You feel the motion through your whole body. Your breathing aligns without thought. An ant matching the steps. The horse slows slightly, then continues. The pattern remains steady. You notice the movement of its shoulders, the shift beneath you. Each step begins before the last one ends, a continuous motion. You follow it without interruption. The wind moves across your arms, across your face. The sun rests lightly. On your skin, the horse exhales a slow, steady breath. You feel it through your legs. The rhythm deepens. You no longer adjust. You move with it, each step predictable, each motion familiar. The ground passes beneath, unchanging. The the sound of hooves continues, soft, even. You listen, step, 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 the same distance, the same timing. Your body remains balanced, centered. The horse continues forward. The wind moves steadily. The grass bends and rises. You follow the rhythm without pause. The motion becomes constant. Rise, fall, forward. Again, rise, fall, forward. The pattern continues. Your breathing remains steady. The horse moves without tension, smooth and even. You remain aligned, following each shift. The open plains stretch ahead. Wide and quiet, the rhythm continues unbroken. You ride. You breathe. You move. Together with the motion, step, 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 the same sound, the same movement, the same steady flow, and you continue forward with the rhythm. The camp begins to stir as the first light spreads across the plains. Smoke rises gently from the fires, thin threads curling into the pale morning sky. A river wanes through the valley, its surface shifting with slow ripples, reflecting the soft colors of dawn. Birds call from the distant trees, notes clear and separate, then fading into the quiet of the morning. The wind moves across the grass, carrying scents of fresh earth, mixed with dry herbs and faint smoke. You notice animals grazing at a distance, their heads lowering and lifting in steady rhythm. Occasional flick of an ear, tail swishing slowly. Clouds drift across the sky. Shadows stretch over the plains, shifting slowly with the light. The camp begins to move, tents folded, bundles lifted, fires allowed to die down gradually. A soft rustle of cloth accompanies each action. The low murmur of voices blends with the wind. The river bends and widens. The current, gentle, leaves float along the surface, twisting slowly with each small wave. Along the river bank, reeds sway lightly, their tops brushing one another, a quiet rhythm in the wind. Animals shift positions. One turns its head. Another steps slowly forward. The sun rises higher, coloring the grass, the soil, the water, soft amber and gold. Small insects move through the grass, a quiet hum in the still air. The wind carries a mixture of scents, fresh grass, earth damp from morning, smoke fading from earlier fires. A child laughs quietly in the distance, steps moving toward another group. A soft echo in the open space. The river reflects the changing sky, ripples spreading outward, mirroring clouds slowly drifting. The wind shifts, brushing over the camp, through the reeds, across the tents. Animals move with the rhythm, hooves pressing softly, bodies rising and falling, heads turning, ears flicking. The sun climbs higher, shadows shorten, light grows warm and even. The scent of earth changes slightly, dry soil warming, blending with fresh cut grass. People in the camp adjust their positions. Bundles rearranged, cloth folded carefully, fires stoked lightly for warmth. The river changes as well, narrowing in places, widening in others, the current smooth and unbroken. A bird glides above, circling slowly, calling softly, then disappearing over the horizon. Clouds continue to move. Shadows drift across the plains, light shifting subtly with each moment. Animals pause, grazing, lifting heads, then resuming. The camp moves forward gradually, following the natural curves of the land, across open plains, toward distant trees. Along the river bend, the wind carries new scents, damp earth from shaded areas, fresh grass from nearby meadows. The river reflects changing colors, pale morning, soft gold of late morning, shadows of passing clouds. The camp pauses briefly, objects adjusted, cloth folded, fires maintained. Small sounds fill the air, the murmur of voices, rustling of cloth, hooves on earth, wind through grass, the soft crackle of dying embers. Animals shift again, changing direction slowly, heads turning, tails swishing. Clouds move steadily, shadows lengthen and shorten. Light changes from soft gold to warmer amber. The scent of smoke blends with the earth. Fresh grass, dry soil. A distant bird calls again, then silence. The wind carries the sound faintly across the plains. The river flows continuously, leaves drifting on its surface, smooth curves of water reflecting light. The camp continues to move, step by step, objects lifted, people walking quietly, voices low. The wind shifts once more, rustling leaves, reeds, the edge of the tents. Animals move in response, hooves pressing softly, ears flicking. The sun lowers slightly, shadows growing longer, the color of the plains changing, soft oranges and muted greens. The river reflects the sky, the clouds above, light catching small ripples. Smoke drifts upward, faint scents mixing, earth, grass, damp soil. The camp begins to settle for the evening, objects placed carefully, tents adjusted, fires stoked lightly. Birds move across the sky, gliding slowly, calling softly, then fading. Animals grazing, pausing, shifting slowly, heads turning, ears flicking. The wind moves steadily across the grass, through the tents. Along the river, clouds continue to drift, light softening, shadows stretching. The river flows, smooth and calm, reflecting the warm colors of evening. The camp continues in quiet rhythm, step by step, objects adjusted, people moving slowly, sounds blend together, wind, water, grass, hooves, voices, light changes gradually, from gold to soft orange, to muted violet. The river mirrors this change, ripples catching the shifting colors. The camp slows further, fires flicker, smoke rising in thin threads. Animals settle, heads lowered, bodies shifting slowly. The wind softens, carrying faint scents of grass, soil, smoke. Clouds drift, shadows stretch and fade. The plains stretch wide, open and quiet, the river winding through the land. The rhythm continues, step by step, hooves, voices, wind. Water, evening approaches fully, light softening, shadows merging, colors muted. The camp moves with the land, step by step, objects placed, tents adjusted, fires tended. You watch, observe, breathing slowly, following the rhythm of the plains, the river, the wind, the light. The land shifts slowly, seasons moving, the camp following, step by step, across plains, along rivers, through light and shadow. The day fades, light soft and even, the wind quiets, grass stills, the river flowing gently, the camp settles fully, fires flickering, smoke rising thin, animals resting, shadows long and muted. The plains remain wide and open, the river smooth, the wind gentle, light soft, and the rhythm of the land continues. The sun has lowered beyond the horizon. The plains glow with soft fading light. Shadows stretch across the tents. Smoke rises gently from the central fire, thin trails twisting into the evening sky. A faint scent of burning wood drifts through the camp. The flames crackle softly, sending sparks upward, flickering against a darkening sky. Children sit nearby, bodies relaxed, eyes wide with quiet attention. Elders begin to speak, their voices low and steady, flowing like gentle water, words rising and falling in calm rhythm. The sound mixes with the crackle of the fire, the whisper of the wind, the distant movement of animals. You sit quietly, listening, the warmth of the flames brushing your face, soft heat radiating outward. Shadows dance along the edges of the tents, moving slowly with the flickering light, creating shapes that sway gently. The elders' voices continue, stories flowing in measured pace, repeating patterns of tone, emphasizing certain words softly, pausing between phrases, the rhythm constant. The smell of smoke blends with dry grass. The earth beneath carries residual warmth from the day. The sound of the river nearby faint but steady. A horse shifts its weight, hooves pressing into the ground. The subtle shuffle blending with the ambient sounds. Children shift slightly, hands brushing lightly against the grass. Bodies relaxed, eyes following the movement of the firelight. The elder's story continues, details unfolding slowly, descriptions of animals, of distant lands, of skies and stars. The cadence of the voice rises, then falls, breath taken, pauses left, allowing time to imagine. You notice the texture of the firelight, golden and warm, touching the faces of those around, casting gentle highlights on the tents. The wind carries distant scents, cool evening air, dry soil, faint smoke lingering. Small movements in the camp continue. A cloth adjusted, a bundle shifted, animals settling near the edges. The rhythm of voices remains steady, rising and falling, echoing softly across the open space. You take in the warmth of the fire, soft against your hands, gentle on your face. The stars begin to appear, faint at first, then more clearly, shimmering softly above. The wind shifts, rustling the tops of the tents, whistling lightly through the reeds. The elders pause, then resume the story. Soft repetition, the rise and fall of voice, emphasizing key moments. Slow and deliberate, children lean slightly closer, eyes following the flames, bodies relaxed, the sound of voices carrying through the open air. The fire crackles, sparks rising, falling slowly, landing softly on the ash. The camp moves with gentle rhythm, hands adjusting blankets, cloth folding slowly, objects shifted without haste. The wind passes through, carrying faint sounds from distant parts of the plains, blending with the soft murmur of conversation. The river whispers nearby, a gentle flow, adding subtle background music to the evening. The elders' voices continue, repeating softly familiar phrases, the same stories told in slow rhythm, patterns recognizable, comforting. The flames cast long shadows, stretching across the ground, moving slowly, shadows of tents, of people, of horses. The warmth of the fire increases slightly, radiating outward, brushing arms and faces. The wind moves through again, softly, carrying scents of grass, earth, smoke. You notice small details, a feather caught in the firelight, a stone at the edge of the camp, the subtle movement of the river. Children shift again, soft laughter barely audible, blending with the murmured responses of adults. The rhythm continues, fire, wind, voices, water, animals. The story unfolds slowly, pausing between phrases, allowing time for images to form. The fire crackles, flickers, weighing light moving across the tents. The wind moves steadily, grass brushing against itself, leaves swaying. Animals adjust their positions, horses shift slowly, head low, tail flicking. The elders' voices continue, the story winding forward and backward, soft repetition, emphasizing rhythm rather than content. You take in the glow, the warmth, the flickering shadows, the quiet sound of animals and people, the subtle movement of the land. Smoke rises into the cool evening, a thin thread dissolving into the night sky. The stars shine more clearly, twinkling softly, blending with the warm light of the fire. The river whispers, soft, constant. The wind carries its song across the plains. You sit quietly, hands resting on the grass, feeling the heat from the fire, listening to the voices, hearing the soft repetition. The camp breathes slowly, movements measured, steps deliberate, sounds overlapping, fire, wind, voices, animals. The evening deepens, light softens, shadows merge. The fire crackles, sparks rising, the elders' stories slow, voices measured, pauses longer, echoing across the still plains. The rhythm continues, step by step, sound by sound, the camp moving with the evening. The stars shine brighter, the river reflects faint moonlight. The wind stirs lightly, the stories continue, softly repeating patterns, words rising and falling in calm rhythm. You watch the fire, feel its warmth, notice shadows moving, listen to the soft crackle. The camp remains steady, the rhythm of voices, movement of people and animals, blending with the wind and river. The light fades slowly, the warmth lingers, smoke rises into the night sky. Animals settle, shadows stretch and soften. The stories continue, soft, measured, repeating, blending with the rhythm of fire, wind, and night. You sit quietly, watching, listening, feeling the gentle rhythm of the evening, of the camp, of the land. The sun rises higher in the sky. Light spills across the plains, touching grass, earth, and river alike. You stand among the camp, observing quietly the movements of others, adults tending horses, adjusting tents, carrying objects. Your body shifts naturally, muscles responding to the motion around you, a sense of rhythm forming with each action. You step forward slowly, hands brushing against soft grass, feeling the texture, the faint coolness of morning dew. Animals move nearby, hooves pressing lightly into the soil, horses adjusting their weight, heads turning, ears flicking, tail swishing. You watch, then join, helping carry small objects, arranging items near the tents, adjusting cloth bundles carefully. Your movements are deliberate, calm, each step measured, each hand movement intentional. The wind shifts, passing across your face, through the grass, over the horses, carrying scents of earth, fresh grass, smoke fading from distant fires. Voices around you rise and fall, adults speaking softly, children laughing quietly, animals shifting, hooves moving, wind rustling. You lift a bundle slowly, adjust your stance, walk toward the designated place, feet steady, body balanced. You notice the rhythm of the camp, the repetition of movement, the flow of energy. Step, lift, place, adjust. Your hands brush against the texture of fabric, coarse, worn, the weight of objects solid in your grip. You pause, listening, the distant river, soft flowing, a bird calling above, wind brushing through leaves and grass. You continue, helping where needed, following the natural pattern, step by step, hand to hand, object to ground. The sun climbs, casting warm light across the plains, the glow on tents, on grass, on the smooth backs of animals. You notice small details, the flick of an ear, the sway of a horse's tail, the soft creak of leather straps, movement of hands adjusting bundles. The wind shifts again, carrying a faint scent of damp soil. Mixed with dry grass and distant smoke, you walk alongside a horse, feeling the warmth of its body, adjusting to its subtle movements, following the rhythm naturally. Step, shift, balance, hands resting lightly, body moving in harmony with motion around you. The camp continues its routine. Objects moved from one place to another, tents adjusted, fires tended, hooves pressing softly, animals grazing. The sun climbs higher, casting sharper shadows, light reflecting off river ripples, glinting in the eyes of animals. You notice the sound of voices, soft laughter, low conversation, the calm pattern of speech, rising and falling naturally. You carry a bundle, adjust your grip, step toward the gathering, slowly, deliberately, feeling your strength grow. The wind moves through the camp, shifting light on faces, on tents, on grass, on water. Animals shift again, horses changing stance, hooves pressing softly, tail flicking, ear twitching. You pause, observing the river, the flow constant, reflecting the light of the sun, leaves drifting, ripples forming. The camp moves steadily, step by step, objects shifted, fires tended, voices soft, animals calm. You notice the sun lowering, light turning warmer, shadows lengthening, the river catching gold reflections. The wind carries new scents, earth, grass, faint smoke. You help with a task, carrying water, adjusting tents, the motion natural, your body strong, calm. The river flows beside you, soft, constant, carrying the reflection of the sky, clouds moving slowly above. Animals settle for a moment, horses lowering heads, bodies shifting, hooves pressing softly. You pause, feeling the rhythm of the camp, step, movement, sound, wind, water, voices. The sun continues its descent, light turning softer, shadows merging, colors blending across the plains. You notice the subtle change, the scent of the earth, the warmth of the day fading, the wind shifting, carrying cooler air, your movements slow naturally, hands adjusting objects, footsteps measured, muscles relaxed. The camp adjusts, objects placed, animals settled, voices lowering. The fire is lit again, smoke curling into the sky, flickering light casting shadows. You continue helping quietly, step by step, hands moving deliberately, objects lifted, shifted, replaced. The river flows steadily, leaves drifting along the surface, light reflecting in gentle ripples. The wind moves through, rustling grass tense, branches at the edges of the camp. You pause once more, listening to the rhythm, the combined sound of life, step, movement, voices, animals, wind, water. The sun lowers further, light soft, golden, shadows long and gentle. The camp slows, movements careful, step by step. The fire crackles, smoke rising in thin threads, carrying faint scents of earth and grass. The animals settle, heads lowered, bodies shifting slowly. You breathe slowly, feeling the calm of the evening, strength in your body, rhythm in your movement, confidence growing naturally. The plains stretch wide, the river flows, the wind moves gently, voices soft, step by step, motion steady. The camp continues, objects in place, animals resting, voices fading, step, breath, movement, rhythm. Evening approaches fully, light soft and golden, shadows blending, the river reflecting muted colors. The camp settles, step by step, movement slowing, rhythm quiet, calm, steady, natural. The plains stretch wide before you. Light shifts slowly across the grass. The wind moves gently, carrying scents of earth and smoke. In the distance, faint shapes appear, smoke curling from unknown fires, thin threads rising into the sky. You notice subtle changes in the land, paths once clear, now soft by new growth. Grass taller in some areas, flattened in others. The camp moves quietly, step by step, objects carried carefully, animals shifting their weight. You listen to the sounds around you, hooves pressing softly, rustle of cloth as tents are adjusted, the quiet murmur of voices. The wind shifts, carrying distant smells of smoke and wood, blending with dry grass and earth. Small movements catch your eye. A bird flitting across the sky, a fox moving at the edge of the brush, a horse lifting its head, ears flicking. In the distance, new tents appear, figures moving slowly, unfamiliar to you, yet calm and steady. You observe without tension, noticing details, the way smoke drifts from their fires, the rhythm of their movements, how the wind touches their tents. The river reflects the sky, light shifting across ripples, colors changing subtly as the sun moves. The wind carries faint voices, too far to understand clearly, yet the pattern of sound reaches your ears, soft, flowing across the plains. You watch animals grazing nearby, heads rising and lowering, tails swishing, hooves pressing softly. The camp continues its slow routine, objects adjusted, bundles moved, fires tended. Step by step, you notice changes in the land, paths made by new travelers, traces of movement, subtle marks in the grass, disturbances in the soil. The sun climbs higher, shadows shorten, light spreading evenly, touching tents, animals, grass, earth. The distant figures move, their fires glowing faintly, smoke rising thin. Drifting with the wind, you follow the rhythm of your own camp, step by step, hands adjusting objects, objects shifted carefully. The wind carries new scents, fresh earth, grass, smoke from distant fires, birds call softly above, notes clear and distinct, then fading into the air. You pause to observe the distant movement, the subtle changes, the wind brushing your face, the sound of water flowing nearby. Animals shift their weight, horses grazing quietly, head lowering, ears flicking, tail moving slowly. You take a deep breath, feeling the pattern of the land, the flow of the camp. The sun lowers slightly, light turning warmer, shadows lengthening, the river reflecting soft golden hues. The wind shifts again, carrying the distant scent of smoke, mixing with the dry grass, the earth. The new tents remain visible, figures moving slowly, hands adjusting bundles, bodies shifting with careful steps. The camp around you continues, step by step, objects carried, fires tended, animals adjusting. You notice details in the movement, the sway of tents, the flicker of flames, the sound of hooves, the murmur of voices. The wind moves steadily through grass, across tents, over the river, through animals. You pause again, observing the subtle changes, noticing patterns, repetition. The light changes, softening, colors blending, shadows stretching long. The distant smoke rises higher, carrying the faint scent of wood and fire. Reaching across the plains, animals shift, heads turning, bodies adjusting slowly, hooves pressing softly. The river flows steadily, reflecting light in gentle ripples, leaves floating across the surface. The camp continues quietly, step by step, hands moving deliberately, objects lifted and placed carefully. The wind carries distant sounds, voices, movement of animals, the soft rustle of cloth. You watch the horizon, noticing the shapes, the movement of figures, the drift of smoke, the flow of the river, the sway of grass. The sun lowers further, golden light soft across the plains, shadows long and gentle, colors muted, animals settle, horses lowering heads, bodies shifting, hooves pressing softly. The camp begins to slow, movements measured, objects in place, fires flickering, smoke rising thin and steady. You pause, observing the distant tents, figures moving, step by step, hands adjusting, bundles lifted, movement gentle. The wind moves, rustling grass, branches at the edge of the camp, soft and steady. The river flows, smooth and continuous, reflecting the changing light. You feel the rhythm of the plains, the pattern of life, step, movement, sound, wind, water, voices. Evening approaches, light softens, colors fading, shadows merging. The distant figures remain visible, their fires faint, smoke drifting, movement slow. Step by step, you continue observing quietly, noticing details, sound. The plains stretch wide, the river flowing, the wind moving. The camp settles, objects in place, animals resting, fires flickering, smoke rising. The world continues, changes unfolding slowly. The river curves gently through the valley, its surface reflecting soft light from the sky, ripples forming as the current flows quietly. The camp has gathered near its banks, tents and lodges arranged carefully, smoke rising from fires in thin columns, curling into the calm air. People move quietly among the tents, bundles carried with care, cloth adjusted slowly, hands brushing against the grass. The sound of water blends with the murmur of voices, low conversation mixing with laughter, animals shifting nearby, horses lifting heads, hooves pressing softly into the soil. The light shifts across the plains, shadows stretching from tents, flickering as flames catch the wind, golden tones warming faces. You notice the riverbank, smooth stones scattered along the edge, grass growing in tufts, soft reeds brushing together. Children move quietly near the water, eyes bright, hands reaching to touch the flowing surface. ripples spreading outward, sunlight catching on tiny waves. Adults adjust tents and bundles, cloth rustling, fires tended, smoke drifting lazily into the sky. The wind carries scents, fresh grass, damp earth, faint smoke from distant fires, mixing together in the cool air. Horses graze quietly, heads dipping low, ears flicking, tails brushing against their legs. You watch the river as it bends, reflections shifting with the light, small leaves drifting along, twisting slowly with the current. Clouds move gently across the sky, casting soft shadows, the plains glowing in warm afternoon light. Voices carry softly, adults speaking with calm rhythm, stories shared quietly, laughter rising and fading. The wind brushes through the camp, rustling fabric of tents, whispering through grass and reeds. You notice subtle changes in the landscape, animals moving, water flowing, light shifting, shadows stretching and folding. Children kneel by the river, fingers touching the cool water, small pebbles rolled gently across the surface, watching ripples expand and fade. Adults adjust bundles again, cloth folded carefully, objects placed in order, hands moving with quiet precision. The river reflects soft golden hues, sunlight glinting across tiny waves, water carrying light downstream. Animals shift their weight, horses moving slightly, ears flicking, heads turning. The wind carries faint, distant sounds, voices from other camps, the subtle murmur of movement, animals rustling in grass and brush. The sky changes, shadows lengthening, light softening, colors blending across plains and river. Smoke rises from multiple fires, drifting in thin columns, blending with the pale blue of the sky. Children gather near elders, listening intently, eyes following hand gestures and expressions, faces glowing in firelight. Animals settle nearby, horses lowering heads, hooves pressing into soft earth, breathing slow and steady. The river moves gently, carrying reflections of sky and clouds, leaves drifting slowly along its surface. Voices rise and fall, adults conversing softly, children responding quietly, stories flowing in gentle patterns. The wind stirs lightly, passing through grass, along tents, over the river. The light fades slowly, golden to muted orange, shadows stretching, blending with the soft glow of fires. Smoke curls upward, blending with the twilight sky. Scent of wood and earth lingering. Horses shift, animals moving slightly, ears flicking, heads lifting. The river mirrors the changing light, ripples moving across the surface, small leaves floating, sunlight catching each one. People adjust tents and bundles, hands moving deliberately, objects placed carefully, fires stoked lightly, voices continue softly, adults sharing stories and guidance, children listening quietly, the rhythm calm and steady. The wind carries sounds across the camp, rustling grass, fabric of tents, movement of animals. Clouds drift slowly, shadows stretch and shift. The light turns warmer, golden hues blending into soft evening tones. The river sparkles as the sun lowers, reflections dancing gently, leaves drifting, water flowing quietly, animals settle for the night, horses lowering heads, resting quietly, breathing steady. Smoke rises in gentle threads, carrying faint scent of burning wood. Mixing with the scent of grass and earth, the camp moves gently. Objects placed, tents adjusted, people speaking softly. Animals calm, the river continues its flow, soft and constant, reflecting the deepening colors of the sky. The wind passes over the plains, rustling grass and trees, carrying faint distant sounds, voices, movement. Animals, the light fades, golden softening to muted violet, shadows merging across the tents and plains. You sit quietly, observing the gathering, watching firelight dance, horses resting nearby, children listening, adults speaking softly. The river reflects the last light, leaves drifting, ripples moving slowly. Smoke rises, carrying the scent of earth, grass, and wood. Blending with the cooling air, the camp remains calm. Animals settled, people quiet, fires glowing softly, shadows moving gently. Evening deepens, colors fading, the river flowing steadily, the wind moving softly. Voices, animals, fire, and water blending into a gentle harmony. The gathering by the river continues, quiet, steady, observing, breathing, sensing the rhythm of life flowing naturally. Asterisk, the sun has disappeared behind distant hills. The sky deepens into shades of violet and indigo. The first stars appear, faint pinpricks scattered across the vast dome above. Fires glow in the center of the camp. Orange tongues flicker across stacked wood. Smoke rises and drifts, slowly merging with the cool evening air. People gather near the flames, some sitting cross-legged, others leaning against tents. Bundles arranged carefully nearby. You observe quietly, the rhythm of the camp slowing as the day ends, sounds becoming more deliberate, less hurried. A horse shifts its weight, tail brushing the grass, ears moving in tune with distant sounds. Voices rise and fall, elders speaking softly, their tones measured, the cadence familiar, comforting. Children huddle close together, eyes wide, absorbing stories, hands brushing against one another, exploring textures of cloth and grass. The wind shifts, passing through tents and across the river, carrying distant scents of smoke, wet soil, and herbs. You notice small movements in the camp, a bundle being adjusted, a hand reaching for a cloth, the subtle sway of a lodge pole as the wind brushes against it. The river glimmers faintly, reflecting the last light of the sky, leaves drifting slowly along its surface, creating tiny, endless ripples. Fires crackle intermittently, sending occasional sparks into the night, the warmth radiating outward, touching faces and hands. Shadows stretch and shift across the tents, shapes moving gently, stretching long across the soft earth. You observe the animals, your muscles relaxing with the cooling evening air, the quiet movement of tails and ears. Children sit silently, watching flames, listening intently, absorbing the patterns of voices and stories. The wind carries distant calls, birds returning to trees, rustling leaves, a soft whisper of motion over the grass. The elder's words flow slowly, describing distant places, past journeys, lessons woven subtly into the stories, pauses left for thought and imagination. Smoke drifts lazily, a thin, twisting column disappearing into the night sky, blending with the first shimmer of starlight. The river murmurs quietly, water moving over smooth stones, reflecting the muted glow of fires, carrying the scent of damp earth along its edge. Fires illuminate the faces around them, shadows dancing softly across the ground, highlighting folds in cloth. The curve of hands resting nearby. Horses shift again. One lifts its head, sniffs the air, then returns to grazing, the quiet sound of hooves pressing gently into earth, blending with the murmur of voices. Children's eyes follow the flames. They trace the shapes of sparks rising and falling, small hands brushing against grass, occasional laughter rising, then fading. You notice the subtle changes in the sky, stars becoming more distinct, the deep blue of night pressing gently against fading light. The wind shifts across the river, creating patterns of sound, leaves brushing together, grass bending, reeds swaying softly. The elder stories continue, voices weaving imagery, descriptions of animals, landscapes, stars, details observed slowly, encouraging attention without urgency. Smoke rises from multiple fires, scent of burning wood mixing with grass and earth, drifting across the camp, filling the air with a layered fragrance. You glance at the river, ripples reflecting moonlight and firelight, small leaves floating along the surface, the water moving with gentle persistence. Animals settle fully. The wind carries faraway sounds, whispers of other camps, rustle of distant foliage, a bird calling softly from the hills. The camp adjusts, objects placed carefully, cloth folded, bundles rearranged, fires stoked gently. The light of the sky deepens, horizon fading into soft darkness, stars appearing more clearly. You observe children resting, leaning against elders, hands touching grass and cloth, breathing calm, eyes heavy. The river continues its quiet flow, reflecting moonlight and firelight, softly carrying scents of earth and grass. Voices soften, laughter fading, the cadence slowing, stories winding toward pause. Smoke rises thinly into the night sky, carrying warmth and the scent of wood, blending with the cool, crisp air. Horses shift slightly, bodies relaxing, heads lowered, ears flicking. The wind passes through the camp, shifting shadows across tents and grass, a subtle chorus of movement and sound. The elders finish their stories, pausing, the final words lingering in the cool air. Children listening, absorbing the calm. The river murmurs softly, water gliding over stones, reflecting distant stars.
The first light touches the plains, soft, pale gold spreading across the grass, mist rising from low spots, curling around the legs of the tents. The camp stirs slowly, footsteps pressing lightly on the soil, the rustle of cloth as bundles are adjusted, fires burning faintly, sending slender threads of smoke into the air. Children awaken, stretching, yawning, fingers brushing over blankets, eyes catching the early sunlight. Adults move with measured care, adjusting tent flaps, carrying water or tools quietly. Voices low, murmured, carrying instructions without hurry. Horses shift their weight, hooves pressing gently into the dew-soaked ground, heads lifting briefly, then returning to grazing. The subtle brush of tails against legs. A gentle wind passes, touching your skin, carrying scents of damp earth, dry grass, and smoke, filling the lungs with a quiet freshness. The river glimmers faintly in the distance, sunlight reflecting on the rippling surface, the movement of water almost inaudible, yet constant. You notice small details. A bird lifting into the air, its wings catching the light, a shadow stretching across the grass, a leaf drifting in the breeze. People move around the tents, hands adjusting bundles, hooves striking the ground, the soft murmur of conversation blending with the natural sounds. You take a breath, feeling the warmth of early morning, the subtle chill of the wind, the solidity of the earth beneath your feet. The light spreads further, touching the edges of the river, highlighting stones along its banks, illuminating ripples and reeds. Animals shift again, horses lifting heads, necks stretching, ears flicking toward distant sounds. Smoke from fires rises straight into the calm air, mixing with the faint scent of wood and dry grass, the smell of earth after night dew lingering. Voices of the camp rise and fall, quiet, measured, no urgency, only the rhythm of movement and preparation. Children begin small tasks, fetching water, adjusting belongings, moving slowly across soft ground. You notice patterns in the movement, the bending of the tents, the flicker of flame, ripples in the river, shadows stretching and folding. The wind shifts once more, rustling grass along the banks, passing over animals, flowing gently across the tents. The sun climbs higher, light touching faces, grass blades, the river casting the camp in soft, warm tones. Horses graze calmly, occasionally lifting heads, listening, sniffing the air, returning to soft chewing. You move among the camp, hands brushing lightly over cloth and earth, observing the steady rhythm, feeling the flow of life before the day unfolds. The river continues its quiet course, reflections dancing across the surface, leaves drifting along the current, water moving endlessly toward distant plains. Smoke drifts higher, blending with pale morning light, carrying the scent of firewood and damp grass. You pause to notice the expanse, the camp, the river, the horizon, the distant hills, animals resting or shifting, voices soft and controlled. The day grows brighter, shadows shortening, the warmth of the sun increasing, the breeze carrying scents of earth, grass, and faint smoke. Everything moves with gentle attention, objects adjusted, fires maintained, animals observed, people moving deliberately. The sky above deepens in clarity, clouds drifting lazily, the wind whispering through leaves and grass, all forming a quiet, steady environment. You breathe in deeply, feeling the cool morning air, the soft warmth of sunlight, the gentle tension of life beginning. Without hurry, without alarm, the river reflects the sky, ripples shifting, birds moving along its banks, horses grazing, the camp readying. The wind stirs again, carrying distant scents and muted sounds. Everything in the world attentive and awake, yet calm. The river stretches across the plains, ripples glinting with the soft sunlight, grass swaying lightly, touching one another with gentle rustle. The camp rests, animals lowered, heads brushing grass, hooves pressing into soft soil. A breeze passes, cool against skin, carrying the scent of earth and flowers, blending with warmth of the sun. Shadows shift slowly, stretching along tents and lodges, light folding over ridges and hills. You notice the sky, blue fading toward soft pastel, clouds tinged with faint gold, stretching across the horizon. The river hums quietly, water flowing over stones, leaves drifting along its surface, birds gliding overhead. The wind bends the grass, a rhythmic undulation, touching each blade, rustling leaves softly. Animals stretch and shift, horses lifting heads, stretching their legs, then returning to calm grazing. The sun warms the earth, soft light reflecting on stones and river, touching faces, hands and hair. Smoke rises